Today we're going to delve into the Wuji stance, Jantron, and pulling down heaven. We're going to integrate these three practices together to deepen our skill set for somatic regulation. In this practice, we have two different ways to approach it. One is really focusing on the feeling and the energetics. And then the other process is really looking at the biomechanics of the body and linking the body together in deeper and more subtle ways. These are two different focuses, and as we practice, they become closer to being one. But these two different rivers, per se, will have different effects. When we work with the body and work on the dynamics of the movement, we're going to be less aware of the subtle energies. But when we work on the subtle energies, we're going to have less effect on the dynamics of opening up the body. These are yin and yang in character. The dynamic is the yang. The energetics are the yin. And all this is coming from the Wuji posture. And in Taoist ideologies, you have Wuji, also known as the empty field in Buddhism. I think they call it an Enzo, and it is an image of a circle. It's just calligraphy. That is the primordial nothingness that all things come from. It is nothing, and thus it is endless potential. From Wuji, there's endless potential. There is energy building up. It's sitting there. The second we make a move, or the universe had light, or the universe had darkness or hot or cold, then you have duality happening. So yin and yang. This hand is yang because it's moving. This hand is yin because it's not. In Tai Chi, there's a more complex interplay. In Tai Chi, for instance, in sheer wild horse's mane, we turn the arm, and then this one comes down. This hand is moving. This hand is not, the body is. But this is the yang hand because it is what we're doing something with more so than this. So here we have lack of movement, but movement in space. Here we have not much movement in space, but more movement in the arm. This is active. This is passive. In the stance here, we're going on to the dominant leg. This is yang. This is yin. But if we're pushing, this is yang, and then we're posting. So this is yin. If I'm coming forward, all the weight's here, so this is active. I'm also pushing back to anchor myself, not to just push, to anchor myself like that. So yin and yang have the black circle and white circle, and they have dots within each other. So there are equal and opposites at play, which we're going to get into. So pulling down heaven, let's look at the basic movement, and then we'll get into the details. For the basics of the movement, our hands face up as we raise them, and then they face down as we lower them, which is pretty simple. Up as we raise them, down as we lower them. My arms are not straight out to the side, they are forward. Here. We're coming here and then lowering down. Avoid coming back here, which closes the back because we are keeping that Qigong stance while we do it. And then down in front. Focusing on energetics, we are lifting, gathering, and lowering, bringing down. Lifting, gathering, pulling down, and then bringing all the way down. Our breath harmonizes with the movement. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay? When we inhale, And when we exhale, we want the hand movement to be smooth and round, and we want the breath to harmonize smoothly. I will be practicing it at a medium pace. If you can't do it at that pace because the lungs feel full, slow it down or speed it up, whatever you need to do. As we practice it over time, the body will change on its own. We don't need to force. Allow, just allow and observe. You can't force a tree to grow. You can nurture it to grow. And this is the nurturing practice. Yang Shen, nurture life. Okay, nurture vital force. It's not the same as a working out in a traditional sense where we're trying to, tear and load up the muscles. We're not doing it in that way. We are being present, helping it. It's more of a supportive practice than an active, building practice. Okay? So let's do it together. We're just going to listen when we're doing this. Gathering, we can be active, like having that, but we want to be listening to what's happening. We're not just so forceful with our intent that we're not observing what's going on. Okay, sinking into the legs, weight evenly distributed, focus in the bubbling well. Drop the tailbone, sit onto the stool, sink in the inguinal crease, pull the tailbone, or pull the belly button back, opening up that lower lumbar. Okay, and then rounding the scapula out, dropping the shoulders, opening the elbows, open up the armpits, express openness with the hands. Chin tucks in, raise the crown, tongue touching the upper palate, relax the eyes. Inhale. Exhale down. Muscles relax. Let go of the body and just feel. Relax. Inhale up. Exhale down. Soft, flowing like clouds. Now we're going to go into the body. We're going to focus on what's happening in the joints and the structure of the body. Okay? So, like I said, this is going to be less subtle on an energetic level, much more dynamic. Okay? So you can only do so much of both these at the same time. And with practice, we feel, it naturally fills again. For our hands to begin with, we're going to actually reach into the earth. So reaching down, and we're going to kind of spiral. Because the hands start here. We're going to dig, like kind of reach in, and then open up, stretching through here. Like almost like we're like reaching down to grab weights here. Okay? And then that reaching down starts going out. We're going to drill out and then palms up. And now here we're going to lift. So drop down, lift. And then we're going to reach up. In this part of the movement, we're going to open up and stretch through the upper spine. So everything can lift. We're not locking our shoulders, but everything lifting. And reach for the sky. The heels can come up ever so slightly. reach, and then pull down. When we pull down, imagine grabbing a branch, you're trying to get some berries, pull it down. Or that you're pulling yourself up. And then here we push down. And when we push down, it's so much like pushing a beach ball into water. Okay? So we're adding dynamics into the posture, which will bring in some tension, but this tension is utilized to open up and get some movement into the joints and tissues, okay? When we're doing this here, we drill down, reach out, lift, gather, pull down, and here we're going to actually reach out with our elbows away from each other, and then push down. So we're going to get these dynamic stretches going on in the body. You should be starting to feel some kind of like elongating. Like if you go like this and put your fingers and reach for your ears without straightening the arms, start pushing out through the scapula, you should feel like a tension growing in the tissues. And that's what we're looking to establish, is some solar dynamic elasticity through the tissue, okay? One more. When we talked about yin and yang, yang's active, but there's an opposite. There's a little bit of yang in the yin, okay? And there's a little bit of yin in the yang, and those kind of interplay. So when we come down here, I'm dropping down, I raise my crown. Here, I sink my tailbone ever so slightly down, compressing. When I compress here, like this, and then we're going to lift up, I can release that lower force going down to the ground with the tailbone a little bit here, and then focus on reaching open, elasticating through the spine, and then pulling down. As I pull down, the crown goes up. So I pull myself down, but the crown's up. Crown's up, and here, tailbone down. Relax, pull up, tailbone down. So relaxing down, sinking. So we're kind of bowing the lower spine here. So we bow down, bowing the lower spine, pulling up. Here, I'm exaggerating the legs. It can be, it may start larger and then get subtler and subtler. So while the stance might be only doing this, it's in harmony with the whole movement. So when I go down here, release, gather here. Okay, so we rotate that lower spine, and then as we're pushing down, we kind of go up, and we want to hang our spine. So when we go up here, try to be conscious that we can here, see my spine here? Just let it hang. Like I'm there, sky hook, right? There's a lot of information going on in the body there. When you're doing all of these dynamics in the arms and the spine and harmonizing, it's a lot. Our cognitive load is high there. So we want to be kind with ourselves, accepting that we can't get it right now. When I've practiced less, I come back, I'm like, whose body is this? So have some grace for yourself, hold space for it, allow, and then we're going to breathe in and move in consciousness into the body slowly, okay? So let's do a couple more. Okay, so we're going to sink, reach, drill into the ground, start lifting, drop the tailbone, and release the tailbone, gather, stretch, pull down, raise the crown, push down, and then drop, release. Okay. So even doing that, I can feel the fascial movements, and I can feel popping and up and down my spine in the tissues. This is normal. Be gentle. Don't force, okay? There will be some force, but don't force it, okay? So if you have any more questions in relationship to these exercises, let me know in the comments. You can also email me, which I'll have my email down below if you're looking to have some private lessons as well. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, seek your bliss.